Welcome back, everybody. We are talking fantasy football as we head into week 11 of the NFL season. It's getting down to the nitty-gritty. Some teams are pulling ahead in our league. Some teams it's getting really close. Alex is no longer the bottom feeder, or he's now sharing the bottom feeder with James.
Fuck yeah, baby.
Crazy. James, so give us an update on our league and tell us who everyone should pick up this week.
Okay. Fantasy update. Tyler is in first.
Woo!
Eric is in second. Traden is tied for seventh. And me and Alex are tied for last place.
Yeah, baby. 2-game win streak. Let's do this.
But I swear to God, I know what I'm talking about because in my other 5 leagues, I am in first. So this league, I don't know what's going on. So this podcast is basically for, 60% of our listeners because there's only probably 6 out of 10 of you guys who are going to make the playoffs. Me and Alex are not at all. So I'm just trying not to be last place at this point. Teams on bye this week are the 49ers. Thank God, because we have Friendsgiving, so I don't have to be pissed off on Sunday. The Giants, the Bears, and the Bills. Starting off with QB, my pick is Alex Smith, future comeback player of the year from Washington. He's owned in 3.6 leagues. In week 10, he had 16 points. Against the Lions, he went 38 for 55 for 390 yards. That's a lot of yards. He's legitimately the only QB in Washington right now. He was a fantastic QB, a winning QB before injuries derailed his career. He had that gnarly open fracture of his leg that flopped open, got an infection. They almost had to cut off his leg. He almost lost his life. But now he's playing football again. So if you guys haven't seen that picture of what his leg looked like, you guys should look it up on Twitter or on Google. Just put Alex Smith's leg and be prepared because it's pretty gruesome. He lost a lot of muscle. They took some skin out of his hamstring or something to make up for the lost skin in his leg. There's also an E60 you guys should watch on Alex Smith. It's great stuff. Anyway, back to fantasy stuff. He's a very good QB, and the fact that he broke his leg doesn't really mean too much because his skill is based on his mental processing and accuracy, not on his legs. He's never been a running QB, he's been a pocket QB. Interceptions in a season since 2010. Like I said, very accurate. 390 yards is groundbreaking. He had the most passing yards than any QB in week 10. The TDs will come. There's going to be a lot of positive regression. It's very rare you throw over 300 yards and not get a touchdown. So those numbers will come in fantasy. It'll help a lot. Over the last 2 weeks, he has 715 passing yards. Up next, they play the Bengals. This is the team that's given up 21 pass TDs on the year. And that includes week 7 when Baker Mayfield had 5 touchdowns.
The GOAT.
Baker Mayfield's trash.
Trey,
he had 5 touchdowns on his team.
Deep breaths, buddy.
Eric, Ryan Tannehill underperformed for you yet again. So what do you think about Alex Smith?
So I got a quick little story. My first ever NFL game was Niners-Rams at Candlestick. Alex Smith ended up getting hurt that game with concussion. Kaepernick was given on for his first game. One of my current bosses now, Tommy, was an AT with the Niners that year, running out on the field when Alex Smith got hurt. Has nothing to do with really what we're talking about, but I just thought I would mention it because we're talking about Alex Smith. I will not pick him up. I do love his story and his return to the NFL. They said he could probably never play again, but he's proven everybody wrong with that. I'm still going to put my faith in Tannehill. I'm still somehow pulling through, finding ways to win. I had Tannehill in the Colts D last week. It basically evened out because they played each other. But I think Alex Smith, he did good last week. He will do good again this week against the Bengals. I don't know how much longer that's going to last. I feel like his confidence really isn't there, but I hope, the best for him. But I will not be picking him up. They don't really have weapons besides their running back, I believe, on the Washington football team.
Terry McLaurin, dude. An elite talent at wide receiver.
Okay.
How are you not going to say that?
Him. They have a weapon. But, yeah, I mean, is he going to throw to him every time? Probably, but, I'm just not going to pick him up.
Alex Smith is currently QB number 40 after only appearing in 3 games and starting in 1. Given his recent production, do you think he ends up as a top 25 QB at the end of the season?
No, I don't think so. Daniel Jones, man, he's the new quarterback of that division. He's going off, fastest guy in the league. So,
Oh my
you know,
God.
I don't know. I just don't think it's going to happen with Alex Smith.
Okay, that's fair. Moving on to halfback, a running back. You got Salvon Ahmed from Miami. He's owned in 7% of leagues. In Week 10, he had 16 points. Against the Chargers, he had 21 carries for 85 yards and a touchdown. He also added 1 reception for 5 yards. So, Matt Breida and Myles Gaskin is on IR, and Jordan Howard was just released because of Ahmed's stellar production. He's the true workhorse back of the Dolphins because of his 21 carries, and no other back really touched the field. He plays within the system, and he fits the kind of running back that Brian Flores wants, and that's one that can get outside the tackles, make one cut, and start running downfield. He can also catch the ball really well and is a really great route runner. He's not the Derrick Henry type that is just downfield no matter what in between the tackles. He's small, but he's nifty, and he's agile. The way the Dolphins defense is playing right now, it lends itself to a lot of positive game scripts where the Dolphins are leading, so there's more running opportunities to run out the clock. Therefore, more times for Salvon Ahmed to be on the field. Up next, they play the Denver Broncos, and that's a defense that's been ravaged by injuries. Last week alone, Josh Jacobs and Devontae Booker had 2 touchdowns each, and they both play for the Raiders. So that's a pretty soft defense. Salvon Ahmed scored 1 touchdown first of his career, but he's hungry for more. Tyler, you should have fallen in love with all the Dolphins running backs and are in the midst of Spagettygate 2020.
Mm-hmm.
What does your gut tell you about Salvon Ahmed?
Another Dolphins running back that I like a lot, especially this week's matchup, Week 11. Past that, I'm not sure if he's a great long-term option because Myles Gaskin is supposed to come back around Week 12. Of course, that can change. I think when Gaskin comes back, he's still going to get the majority of the touches there with the Dolphins. But for Ahmed in this Week 11 matchup, like him a lot. I think he's a great pickup. A lot of times with these running backs and wide receivers, you're looking for guys to pick up for guys on bye, some guys that are getting hurt. So Ahmed, I think, is a great pickup. So if you're looking for running back to fill in for bye, pick him up. But like I said, I think long-term, I don't know if he is the best choice.
He was the number 14 scoring running back in Week 10. Does he push the top 10 running back this week against the Broncos?
I think so. I like this matchup a lot. I think he's taken this opportunity and run with it. I think he's feeling good, playing well. Like you said, against a Broncos defense, I think that will give up some rushing yards. I think he can be in top 10 for sure.
If you were to predict how many points he scored, what would it be?
I'm going to go with 18.2.
Does that include any touchdowns?
1 touchdown.
Sounds like a good prediction to me. Thank you, Tyler.
Got it.
Moving on to wide receivers, we have Michael Pittman Jr. from Indiana. He's owned in 5% of leagues right now. In Week 10, he had 19.2 points. Against the Titans, he had 7 receptions on 8 targets for 101 yards and 1 carry for 21 yards. He has been active in only 6 games this year. He went on IR for a little bit because he had compartment syndrome in his legs, meaning they basically had to cut his leg open because it swelled up to the point where blood and nerves and stuff were dying. Still pretty serious, but now he's out and playing, and he's doing really well. He's shown to be one of Phil's favorite targets. He's had 15 targets in the last 2 weeks. He had 28 targets in 6 games total. He's a big-bodied, sure-handed wide receiver who fights for the catch, which is great because Philip Rivers likes to throw to the other team. The Colts like him enough to make specific plays for him. As you saw, he had a 21-yard reverse sweep in the second half. Wide receivers don't typically run the ball, but if your play caller makes running plays for you as a wide receiver, you're a playmaker and they want to get to the ball any way they can. So therefore, he's probably going to be a big part of this offense for years to come. Up next, they play Green Bay. This is going to be a very high-scoring game. The over-under is set at 51.5, which means there's going to be a lot more passing opportunities for Michael Pittman to catch the ball. Alex, as the fight not to be in last place continues, what do you think of Michael Pittman Jr.?
Yeah, 2-game winning streak. I'm going to keep that rolling, Traden. I'll see you on Sunday, my man. Michael Pittman Jr. So if you're the unfortunate person that drafted T.Y. Hilton, trade.
Traded.
Beer mile.
And you are looking for a replacement. He is a rookie. You do have to bank on the Phillip Rivers going to throw at least 1 to 5 picks.
5K.
5K, not 5, obviously. He's an interesting pickup. Like you said, the over under on this game is what, 51?
51.5, correct.
51.5. So we're expecting a lot of points to be scored during this game. The Packers generally don't give up too many points to wide receivers in the fantasy games, so they could be a little bit of an issue for you. You're saying that the fact that they're calling rush plays for him, just kind of like the Rams do for Robert Woods, that brings a lot of added value. If they think they're going to run plays specifically for him, go for it. If you're looking to replace someone that's on a bye, if you got Stephon Diggs, the Bills on bye, pick him up, see what happens. I would say max a flex position though.
So do you think he'll outscore Devontae Adams in terms of fantasy points this game? Last week he did. Devontae Adams had 18.6 while Michael Pittman had 19.2.
Okay, well that's a very small margin, and Devontae Adams is Devontae Adams, so no.
Okay. Even though they have Allen Lazard back, so now there's targets that go all the way around.
Yeah, he's still Devontae Adams, so no.
Okay. That's a good take. I wonder if he does.
You know what? You text me Sunday evening and we can talk about it.
Sounds good. If I don't need to make some money back somehow.
Sure, $5.
$5 sounds good. Cool.
Yeah.
Make it happen. Moving on to tight end. Tight end's always a tough position, but I'm going to go with Logan Thomas again from Washington. He's owned in 20.2% of leagues. In week 10, he had 10.6 points, which was, I think, the 5th highest score for a tight end. The highest was 13. Miserable. Against the Lions, he had 4 receptions on 6 targets for 66 yards. He has plenty of opportunity. He has the 3rd most targets on the team with 52. And it's not even close because the 4th most is Antonio Gibson with 30. So he has 22 more targets than the next person. It's crazy. Alex Smith is very accurate, but he doesn't throw it very long. So he likes to throw it short, which means tight ends and running backs will typically get that because tight ends run shorter routes. Next, and I really, really like the Alex Smith and Logan Thomas stack going into this next week just because it's against the Bulls. And those two are probably going to be priced very low. So DFS, if you're doing DraftKings, think about making that stack happen. Like I said, up next, they play the Bengals, and they typically give up north of 60 yards per game to the tight end position. Traden, you're still in the hunt for the 4th spot, and Darren Waller disappeared on you last week. And technically, Thomas has outscored Waller by 3 points over the last 4 games. What do you think about adding Logan Thomas?
Intriguing, to say the least. I mean, I think I agree with you on the fact that I think Alex Smith and Logan Thomas are kind of getting a little bit of a groove going. We saw that last few weeks here. I really like that aspect, and really what I like the most is probably the matchup. I mean, you're playing a Bengals team that is giving up the 2nd most to tight ends in the league, so it's a team that is giving up points like it's candy to tight ends. So, and the fact that Logan Thomas is becoming pretty much the best options there. Eric, there's actually options that Alex Smith has. He's intriguing. Whether I would replace him for Waller is pretty tough. I think Waller is a better talent. I think, and you're right. He hasn't had the production numbers, but I don't know. I have to stick with my gut and stick with Waller on this one. But I think that Logan Thomas is you can do a lot worse if you're looking for a tight end. And I'm willing to bet that following the end of the week, I don't think Logan Thomas is going to be, we wouldn't be talking about him. I think he's going to be over 50% owned come, Thursday.
Traden, let's make a bet. Joe Burrows plays better than Alex Smith this weekend. I'll take Burrow.
Okay.
I put Burrow into my lineup, Traden.
Yeah.
$5.
I think
Yeah,
Burrow's
$5, that's
gonna
fine.
win that.
I'll take Alex Smith on that.
Okay, that's cool. One more question for Trading over there. So do you think that Logan Thomas's production increases as Smith begins to get more comfortable in that offense and playing football again?
Yeah,
Or he'll start throwing downfield more?
definitely. And like I said, that connection's already starting to sprout, and with Alex Smith gaining a little bit more confidence as the weeks go by, coming off of over 300-yard week. I mean, that's just gonna bode well for him. He's a high quality red zone target. Like you said, the touchdowns are gonna come. And he plays 86% of his team snaps in the last bit here, so he's on the field a lot. He's going to be targeted a lot. I think, like I said, I think that it's going to bode well for him, and Alex Smith is only going to trend up along with him.
All right. Thank you for that, Traden. So last but not least, we're going to go around the clock here and see what the guys have to think about their favorite waiver wire picks. Tyler, let's start with you.
Yeah, an interesting one I got here for you guys. Rex Burkhead, running back for the New England Patriots. Kind of a boomer bust guy. Not really know what you're going to get. But if you're desperate and trying to find somebody, 22nd ranked running back, owning 32% of leagues. Week 11 matchup against the Texans. Could be a guy that gets you a lot of points. He had 22 points last week. So never know.
Eric?
This might sound bogus, but I'm gonna go with Jameis Winston. It's his first game playing as a starter with the Saints. Who knows? He might throw a couple picks, but he might throw like 6 touchdowns also, or like run a couple in. Maybe he throws like 1 pick. I'm gonna say he gets 3 TDs, 1 pick. Jameis Winston.
Alex?
I'm talking about our boy the Dragon, Jalen Reagor. He's back. We talked about him. I don't know, however many weeks ago that was. I'm losing track of time here, but he's back. We'll we were high on him on the preseason. He's only owned in like 30% of leagues or something. Go get him if you need a wide receiver.
And Traden.
I'm actually going to take yourself on a mid. It's not very often that you get the opportunity to pick up a starting running back on the waiver wire. Pick him up.
Thank you. And that concludes my segment. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, James. Great as always. Really excited for the Beer Mile Watch 2020. James and Alex, excited to see how that pans out.